while millions of women took to the streets, donned with pink pussy hats, signs, and outrage, and made history. The 2017 Women's March made history as the largest single-day protest in American history. A century earlier, donned sashes, signs, and outrage, and marched to win the right to vote, both a fight they finally won after more than 7 decades of organization, agitation, resistance, and hard work. The fight for women's suffrage and equal rights began in earnest in Seneca Falls, New York, in 1848, when Elizabeth Cady Stanton, Lucretia Mott, and 100 others, both men and women, signed the Declaration of Sentiments, which stated, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men and women are created equal." This meeting sparked a revolution of women that wrote editorials, gave speeches, marched in local parades, lobbied their legislatures, picketed the White House, walked from New York City to Washington, D.C. on a suffrage hike, and even marched on the New York State Capitol. Women of New York continued pushing, and finally, in 1913, the New York State Legislature approved a vote on suffrage in 1915. Across the state, there was a mass mobilization of women. On November 2nd, 1915, when the ballots were tallied, suffrage lost by 200,000 votes. It was the largest vote polled for suffrage, and they lost. But the defeat did not keep these women down. 2 days later, the next campaign began at a mass meeting at Cooper Union in New York City. Over the next 2 years, women across New York mobilized and went right back to work. 100 years ago, on November 6, 1917, men went to the polls again, and this time voted in favor of granting women the right to vote. History never stops. After the fight was won in New York, women shifted focus nationally, helping to secure the 19th Amendment in 1920. While women's suffrage was constitutionally guaranteed, in practice, that right was granted primarily to white women. African American women and men were not allowed to vote in a segregated South. Brave women like Fannie Lou Hamer, born in Mississippi the same year women in New York State won the right to vote, was the youngest of 20 children and started picking cotton on a sharecrop plantation when she was only 6 years old. She became interested in civil rights activism in the 1950s, and within a few years began working to help African Americans register to vote, an action that was usually met with violence in Mississippi. During the course of her activist career, Hamner was threatened, arrested, almost beaten to death, and shot at. But none of this ever deterred her from her work of registering African Americans to vote. It was not until 1965, with the passage of the Voting Rights Act, that all women were truly granted the right to vote. We continue to make history. A year ago, these hats became the successors of the suffragists' purple and gold sashes, a new symbol of fight for equality and respect. Two of these hats have been added to the collection at the New York State Museum. You can see them on display. 100 years from now, people will learn about the movement through this simple knitted object. So please, if you are wearing a pussy hat now, pass it on to your daughters, to your granddaughters, or anyone who wishes to know why you're wearing it. This is how we connect to our history. This is how we never forget.